Good evening. Wonderful to have you all here. Welcome to the 2013-2014 Lectures in Catholic Experience. My name is Christina Vanin. I'm an associate professor in the Department of Religious Studies here at St. Jerome's University, and I'm the coordinator of the lecture series this year. Before we get started, would you please check and make sure that all your cell phones are powered down, as they say on Southwest Airlines, everything powered off as far as you can, so we don't have too many beeps going on while we're videotaping this. Just giving everybody a chance to click their buttons. Wonderful, thank you so much. On September 7th of this year, Pope Francis participated in a vigil of fasting and prayer for peace. In the homily at that vigil, he said, "This evening, I ask the Lord that we Christians and our brothers and sisters of other religions, and every man and woman of goodwill, cry out forcefully, 'Violence and war are never the way to peace.' Let everyone be moved to look into the depths of her or his conscience and listen to that other word which says, 'Leave behind the self-interest that hardens your heart. Overcome the indifference that makes your heart insensitive towards others. Conquer your deadly reasoning and open yourself to dialogue and reconciliation. Look upon your brothers and sisters' sorrow and do not add to it. Instead, stay your hand. Rebuild the harmony that has been shattered. And all this achieve not by conflict, but by encounter." These words about the need for encounter in the journey toward peace and justice are especially poignant for us this evening as we welcome Dr. Abuelaish here to deliver the 2013-2014 Scarboro Missions Lecture. The Scarboro Missions is a society of Canadian Catholics, both priests and laypersons, who are motivated by the Spirit and dedicated to Jesus' words, "I have come that they may have life and have it to the full." Among its many commitments, Scarboro Mission seeks to encounter and celebrate God's presence in the life, history, culture, and faiths of the people among whom we live. And so to that end, Scarboro is deeply involved in interfaith dialogue through its overseas missions, in its lay mission programs, and by sponsoring events such as our lecture tonight. Given Scarborough's mission and values, it is indeed fitting that Dr. Abuelaish is with us this evening. He is a Palestinian medical doctor who was born and raised in a refugee camp in the Gaza Strip, a place where 1.5 million refugees are crammed into 360 square kilometers of land. Dr. Abuelaish was the first Palestinian doctor to receive an appointment in medicine at an Israeli hospital. Through his work, he has experienced the impacts of conflict in countries like Palestine, Egypt, Israel, Uganda, Yemen, Afghanistan, and Saudi Arabia. Working as both an insider and outsider to conflict has led him to consider medical doctors as peacemakers because of the moral doctrine of their profession. Currently, Dr. Abuelaish is an associate professor at the Dalai Lama School of Public Health at the University of Toronto. He has received honorary degrees in law from the University of Manitoba, Queen's University, and Western University, and he has been nominated a number of times for the Nobel Peace Prize. He has dedicated his life to using health as a vehicle for peace, and he is the author of the critically acclaimed book, I Shall Not Hate, A Gaza Doctor's Journey. In his book, he writes, "I know that what I have lost, what was taken from me, will never come back. But as a physician and a Muslim of deep faith, I need to move forward to the light, motivated by the spirits of those I lost. I need to bring them justice. I will keep moving, but I need you to join me in this long journey. So please join me in welcoming Dr. Izzeldin Abuelaish to speak to us tonight about the place of encounter and the need to work together in this long journey, a journey that he calls a journey of hope through faith, tolerance, and courage. Dr. Abuelaish.
Thank you. Thank you, Chris. Thank you all for coming. I see at this meeting, it's a sign of hope. When I came maybe 2 hours ago, and Chris to say to me, we hope to fill this space. I say we can't say that till we try. And that's all of the time. We need to try before we say no. Seeing you here coming from goodwill is a sign of hope. So I am coming to speak to you with open heart, with open mind and eyes, and I am sure you are coming with the same well of open mind, heart, and eyes to share and to connect. Because in this world, we need to talk to each other. Everything starts with talking. After that, the action starts. In our life, we face challenges, we face hardships, ups and downs, tragedies. But what is important, we want to discover ways to be able to learn and find calmness inside ourselves for a better world of us, for us, and for others. We need to learn and practice to challenge ourselves before challenging others. All of the time we face and we try to do our best to challenge each other. The priority is to start, to practice and to learn how can we challenge ourselves to work for a just and a human world. My life as a Palestinian refugee, and the meaning of the word refugee, that I don't like it for anyone. It means something behind it. What made this to be refugee? He has something before. My life as a Palestinian refugee who was born, raised, lived in refugee camps, waiting for the humanitarian aids, just to suffer the misery of life, the abject poverty and deprivation. As a child, I never tasted the meaning of a childhood. As if I was born just to suffer. And we don't want to blame in this world anyone who is born in this world, in these situations. We should not add salt to the wound. These people are wounded, who are suffering, the children in this world who are deprived and just to criticize them. This is injustice. Instead of that, we need to ask what made them, what brought them to that situation. What can we do to change that life? I realized my suffering and others. Now, for more than 5 decades in this world, not only in Palestine, everywhere in this world, millions of children, mothers, and others who are suffering on daily basis. And we watch it. We hear it. They were not born with it. It's man-made. It's not from God, because I fully believe as a Muslim, God created us to know each other and for the good. God wants every good thing for humanity in this world. But we as a human, we made the world the bad for all of us. The suffering in this world is man-made. From that moment, I realized that's the hope. It's man-made. What can we do to challenge this man-made suffering? Of not accepting it, to say no to it. I will take the responsibility of changing it. As a child, I said, I will never accept the misery of life. I should get rid of it. And thanks to our parents. Our parents, after they lost their homeland, they lost everything. But they didn't lose hope in their children. They were not educated. My mother doesn't know to read or write. And the same for my father, but they realized that the biggest weapon to face the misery of life in this world, it's education. You have to study and to work. And in this world, as we see it, someone can deprive, someone can imprison, can oppress, can occupy, can torture, can kill. But no one on earth can prevent any of us from dreaming. I encourage you that we need to dream big. As a child, I dreamed. I want to get rid of this misery. I want to be a medical doctor, to get a better job, to save my family from the suffering, to feel human and to live as a human. I worked hard to achieve my dream. I remember it when I applied for the university. I was one of the top students in the Gaza Strip. I said I want just to get a scholarship to study medicine or any type of study, to go to university. When they did the matching, I said, anything you accept me for. Because it's the only opportunity, because I fully believe always in this world there is one who is great. There is one who is opening his eyes and watches what is happening in this world. In a time other human beings are closing their eyes, there is God that we need to count on. And that's what brought me to believe these days more than before, if all the world wants to do me harm and God does not, it will never happen. And if all the world wants to help me and God does not, they will never succeed in that. So we need to have faith in that. I got my MD from Cairo University. As I said, my life was a war. I was fighting on a daily basis. From my early childhood till now, just to survive. I am not sure about tomorrow. I want to live my moment, my day. In the time we see others in this world who are living to fight. And we need to ask the purpose of our existence, where we were born to fight or to live life and to save others' lives. But I learned also, as Grandma Moses said, life is what we make it. Always has been, always will be. It's in our hands. We can shape our life the way we want. We can make it the way we want. I succeeded in that. As I said, and that's the hope in it. But life is full of surprises. The most difficult time in my life that I never dreamed in. And each of us, he remembers certain dates in his life. The day and the date I will never forget is number 16. 16th of September 2008. 4:45 p.m. is the day when I lost my wife. I thought it's the end of the world. Because as a child, if I was asked, with whom would you like to live? I will say with my mother. Because the mother is the one who gives, is the one who brings all together. The mother is the main pillar in any community, in the house, and everywhere. And my faith and my life taught me the orphan is not the one who loses the father. The orphan is the one who loses the mother. With the loss of the mother, we lose everything. The big heart. When we need to run to. But that's life. I can't change it. I was the first Palestinian doctor to practice medicine in an Israeli hospital. I started it in early 90s. Anytime the Israelis, they used to see Palestinians as workers, serving them as people who are struggling for their freedom, as occupied people. It's time to see Palestinians as a human, as equal, as similar, as skilled as they are. Also, I believed in that message, that medicine and health, it has one face, it has one culture, it has one value. It's a human face, culture, and value. It's about saving lives and giving life to others. When we treat patients inside the hospital, we treat all equally. Medicine and health is about justice, about equality, about respect of humanity. All are equal within the borders of the hospital. We don't design the treatment according to name, ethnicity, religion, background. It's where all come together as similar. We need to promote it and to practice it outside the borders of the hospitals. The happiest moment in my life as a gynecologist, when I handle the baby to his mother, there is no difference between the cry of the newborn Muslim baby, Jewish, Christian, Druze. The cry of the newborn baby is a cry of hope. A new life is coming. I did it because I believed in it. And my wife was the main support of my work. As I used to go to work Sunday morning and to come back Thursday, I have my children to whom I can leave. I can't do that. But I can't change the situation. And as Einstein said, life is like riding a bicycle. To keep balanced, we must keep moving. I have to keep moving. And thanks to God and to my children, in particular my eldest daughter, Bisan, who said, count on God and our support. Continue your work. I continued my work. But no one on earth where his life and his future can't be predicted or to be tested as Palestinian people in this world. I continued my work. Then the unexpected, the nightmare happened. 16th of January 2009, 4:45 p.m., just 4 months later, after the death of Nadia, my wife, is the day when the Israeli tank to bomb my daughter's room, killing 3 daughters and 1 niece. For nothing they did. They were girls, armed, and I taught them to be human and to behave and to fight for humanity. They were girls armed with love, with the plans, with education. Bisan, my eldest daughter, who was 20, was the first girl at the age of 14 I sent to peace camps. Because I believed in these girls. If I have 100 of these girls, and I thank God for what did He gave me and what He took from me, I will thank God for that. Bisan, after she went to the peace camp and to come back, that's one of the messages we need to learn and to listen to our children. We need to listen to them. They are wise enough to change the world and to teach the world and to teach many leaders of this world. When she came back to say to me, I found out how similar are we as Muslims, as Jewish, as Christians, and the Druze. Our children, they found out how similar are we, but we are deepening the divide. At that time, when she came to say to meet violence with violence doesn't solve any problem. After she lost her mother, she was in her final year at the university, and she was supposed to get her BA a few months later. As most of our students and our children, the nightmare for them is when they have academic exams. She took the role of the mother. She was my friend, my daughter, my advisor. She came to say, I realized one thing, that academic exams are the easiest exams in life. The most difficult exams in life are life exams. When we are tested with the loss of the beloved ones, and for her, the loss of her mother was the biggest test in her life. I don't want anyone to see what did I see at that moment, because the shilling came seconds after I left my daughter's room. These beautiful girls that I am proud of, because their teachers were fighting to have them in their classes. They never succeeded. In their schools, less than 97%. Bisan was 20 years old. Mayar, who was 15, who was number 1 in math in Palestine, who planned to follow my path, who said, I will study medicine. At least I was happy one of my children will follow that. Mayar, the beautiful girl who was 14, who planned to be a journalist or a lawyer, to be the voice of the voiceless, to speak about others. And my niece Noor, who was 17, who planned to be a teacher. These beautiful girls, they became bars, drowning in their blood. I wanted to recognize them, to see them. Where is Bisan? Where is Mayar? Where is Aya? Where is Noor? Mayar was decapitated. But as I said, as a Muslim, we need to have faith. I said, why is this happening? Why my daughters were selected? Why my house? Why at that moment, 4:45 p.m., when it was planned to be interviewed live by the Israeli TV? So I called the Israeli anchor, where they were waiting for me to be interviewed, and he heard my cries. And that's the courage. That's the moral courage, when we act in time and we say the word in time. Once he heard my voice, he opened the speaker to broadcast it live all over the world, to let the world to hear what is happening in this world. Because for 3 weeks, the war was running, and people there and everywhere, even these days, the war that we think of, it's not what do we see on the screen. What we didn't see is tens of times of what did we see on the screen. It's our children, our innocent, beloved ones, our mothers, our sisters, our children. 90% of the innocent people who are paying the price of any war or any conflict, it's not soldiers. It's not the soldier who is going there. It's innocent civilians, and mostly mothers and the children. And that's what do we want to open our eyes about. At that time, Palestinians in the Gaza Strip were just numbers, figures, statistics. As we see it on daily basis, 100, 200, 500, 1,000. People are not statistics. They have names. They have faces. They have hopes. They have plans. They have dreams. They have parents. They have a future. They have life. We must give these people the right name. It's shame to think of a human being as figures or statistics. Because saving one's life, you save the world. Killing one, you kill the world. Every human being is a special world. And it's time to give that value to the human being and to value them in any part of this world. That's why I said this tragedy from the first moment. God knows, and we don't know. This tragedy is for good and will be invested for good. I started to think, what can I do? At that moment, Bisan, Mayar, Aya, and Noor who were killed, I can't do anything for them. But when I saw my daughter Shada, who was severely wounded, my niece, and my brother, I am blessed to be a medical doctor to manage emergency situations. So I started to focus at that moment, not of those who were killed, but of those who were wounded, and what can I do to save their lives? And to think of the future of my children who are alive, and to look at my son, Muhammad, who was 12. I said, what the future is waiting for him? He lost his mother a few months ago. Now, 3 sisters and niece. Is he going to be crazy to lose his mind? As we stigmatize others, they are violent. They are terrorists. I say to people, don't blame others. Ask what made them. Because violence, as diseases, they are the result of exposure, of something we did. My son, and no one on earth was born violent. It's the environment in which the people are living made them violent. If you took them from that environment, if you change the context in which they live, they will never be violent. I looked at him then while I was crying, and to say to me, why are you crying? Why are you screaming? You must be happy. He said, my son, he wants me to be happy, and Bisan, Mayar, Aya, and Noor are killed. How? He said, he doesn't know that they were killed. Maybe. He said, no, I know my sisters were killed. But I know that they are happy there. They are with their mom. She asked for them. That's the Palestinian, 12 years old child. I said, if he said that, I don't need to worry about him. I have to carry the wound, the pain, and to move forward. And from that moment, I swore to God and swore to my daughters, whom I fully believe one day I will meet them. I will never rest. I will never relax. I will never give up or forget them, because they are part of me. They are moving with me. They are living with me. And I am accountable to them. They are watching me, asking me, what did you do for us? From this place, I say to them, I send them prayers and blessings. I didn't forget you, and I will never give up. And I am waiting to meet them with the big gift. That gift is the justice for them and for others, and to tell them that their holy souls and noble blood wasn't waste. It made a difference in others' lives. It changed others' lives, and that they were kept alive in the minds, in the hearts, in the souls of the people of this world. But which means that can be used to keep that? Is it the bullet which was used to kill them? The bullet is the weapon of the weak. The bullet kills once, but we have a stronger means than these bullets, and we need to promote these means. It's the wisdom that God blessed all of us to have. It's the kind, courageous words and the good deeds. That's what is needed from all of us to promote and to practice and to spread in this world. When I wrote my book, I Shall Not Hate, because the people were expecting me to hate. I may have the right to hate, but I say to them, is it the right way to bring my daughters justice? Am I going to be strong to do that? And with hatred, who will be impacted? The one who carries it. Hatred is a disease for me. It's a disease for the one who carries it. It's a destructive disease. And I don't think anyone wants to have self-destructive disease. It's a poison. It's a toxin. It's a heavy burden that we carry. We should get rid of this heavy burden, which makes us sink deeper and we will never move forward. We need to feel lighter if we want to challenge the one we plan to hate. And life is a long journey. If you want to lose confidence and energy from the first minute in life and to give up, then there is no meaning for our life. Life is long. In life and in marathon, the one who starts all of the time looking backwards to see who is behind, who is crossing, others will cross him. Instead of that, be focused, move forward, more determined, more focused, more energized. That I will never accept it. And let us see who is going to succeed and to smile by the end of the game. In soccer, in football, the result of the game is not judged by the first minute of the game. If any team scored a goal at the first minute, it doesn't guarantee that this team won the game. We have 89 minutes. We have to wait to the end and to see who is going to win by the end of the game. In life, you face many harms. If someone did you harm, you are a victim of that harm. Don't accept in life to be a victim more than once. If you want to be injected with this hatred, you are a victim of this destructive hatred. And you need to care about yourself. You need to be healthy, mentally, physically, spiritually, because the challenges are waiting for you. Don't say or don't play the role of victim. You can have the power. When you default into being the victim, you allow others to have power over you. Shed the victim mindset and rise into your own power. That's what is needed. I feel it. I am not a victim, and I don't want to be labeled as a victim anymore. I am stronger than before. And that's what is needed from all of us. We are each responsible in this world for our own life. No other person is or ever can be. I don't want to wait for others. As I said, I believe that this tragedy was for good. Good came out of it. And the first good thing which came out, the second day of that tragedy, when was it? When it was broadcasted live to the world. It put an end to the killing of innocent people. In that time, the world was begging, asking the Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Olmert to have ceasefire. He didn't. Once he saw and heard my voice, he announced unilateral ceasefire. While I was in the hospital with my daughter, Shada, who was severely wounded, I said to her, the blood of your sisters saved others' lives, but no one should be killed in this world in order to save others' lives. In medicine, we learn to prevent diseases, to prevent deaths, not to treat. And that's what is needed from all of us. And we hate in this world someone because we don't know that person. As long as we continue not to know, we continue to hate. So we need in this world, which is endemic with violence, with hatred, with diseases, with fears, where our enemies are our ignorance, our arrogance, our ignorance of ourselves and others, our arrogance. These are the enemies we need to contain and to fight against. We need in this world to be angry. Angry about what is happening in a way that we don't lose control, in a way which energizes us. Sometimes when you walk in the street, you see something wrong, you feel angry about it. You don't accept it. That's the anger we want all, to feel angry about it. That's what do we want in this world. As I said, not to blame others, but to take responsibility. And an old native chief was teaching his grandson about life. He said to his grandson, a fight is going on inside me. He said to the boy, it's a terrible fight, and it's between two wolves. One is the evil. It's hatred, anger, envy, sorrow, regret, and greed and arrogance. The other is the good one. He is joy, peace, love, hope, serenity. This same fight is going on inside you and inside every other person too. The grandson thought about it for a minute and then asked his grandfather, which wolf will win? The old wise man answers, whichever I will feed. It's in our hands. That's the responsibility, don't blame. That's the way. What do we want to feed inside our souls and in this world? So you need to try it. It's good that we are meeting. As I said, everything starts by talks. But at the end, the patient who comes is not waiting for talks. The patient is waiting for a prescription, for a medication to be cured. And we live in this world, which is a small one. It's becoming smaller and smaller. And no one is far from risk. Maybe we are far by distance, but the impact can be indirect or indirectly to affect us. And we are living and riding the same boat in this world. So we need to protect this world and to understand that no one is free as long as others are not. The freedom I have is from your freedom. I don't have peace as long as others are not. It's time to stand for the freedom of all. I am not healthy as long as others are not. That's health, that's peace, the freedom we need in this world. So we need to look around. We need to ask and to learn and to act. And what can we do to make a difference in this world? We need to speak out, not to delay it for tomorrow. We need to be proactive, not reactive. And just the saying of Martin Niemöller, he is a German Protestant theologist. At the times of the Nazis, he said, they came first. They came first for the communists, and I didn't speak out because I wasn't a communist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I didn't speak out because I wasn't a trade unionist. Then they came for the Catholic. I didn't speak out because I wasn't a Catholic. He was a Protestant. He thought of himself. Then they came for me. Sadly, by that time, no one was left to speak out to. How many people should suffer till we start to wake up and to speak out. That's what is needed from all, to start to speak out and to talk and to act. And life taught me, as a physician, maybe the situation of this world is a difficult one, but it's not impossible to fix it. Life taught me that nothing is impossible in life. The only impossible thing in life I believe in is to return my daughters back. But I can keep them alive. And in medicine, I will never lose hope in treating any patient as long as the patient is still alive. I lose hope only once the patient is dead. But we need to learn the lessons from the death of any patient to prevent any more deaths. Mistakes are there. But mistakes are there to learn from them, not to repeat them. We say, never again, but nothing is fixed. I came to Canada where I never thought of coming to Canada. But after I lost my wife, I said I have to be with my children in one place. I can't commute between Palestine and Israel. Within a month, I got 2 offers, one from the University of Harvard and one from the University of Toronto. I accepted the one from U of T, not because of Harvard, which is going to be good for me. And in my life, I made many mistakes. But one of my wisest decisions that I am proud of, and God help me, is to bring my children to Canada. And the first lesson I learned, the first day we arrived here, I went to my house, and my daughters and my children were with me. My daughter Rafa, when I introduced myself to our neighbor at the front door, she asked if they have children. And they have children, she went to play with them. After a few hours, they came to our house to play. 8 hours later, our neighbor is coming to say, your children will be at the same school as my children. They will be together. And we need to give life to the children, because the children, they give us life. What do you think of taking part of the wooden fence in the backyards to enable them to communicate and to move freely? The first day we smashed barriers, mental, physical barriers. Anytime others, they are building walls. We need to build a bridge in this wall. That's the first lesson here. And that's the message I am proud of. We need others to learn from it. And the message of hope is my daughter, Shada, whom I am proud of. Shada, during the war, who was 17 years old, studying day and night to be one of the top 10 in Palestine in the high school, studying on candles. She was severely wounded. She was treated at the hospital where I worked in Tel Aviv. And what Shada suffered in 1 year, mountains can't tolerate what did she suffer. After 4 months in the hospital, she lost the sight in one eye. 2 malformed fingers in her right hand. But while in the hospital, just a few days later, with the bandages over her eye, to say to me, If I can't see with my right eye, I have my left. If I can't write with my right hand, from tomorrow to bring me papers, pencils to start practicing with my left hand. The defeat is not the killing. The defeat is the defeat of the souls and the spirits. And we must not accept in life to be defeated. Killing will never defeat anyone. The defeat is the defeat of the spirit. She spent 4 months. She was discharged and to go to do the high school exam with all the difficulties in the exam. It's a unified, standardized exam for the whole country, for the whole Palestine at the same moment. From the whole curriculum, they don't care what did you pass through. I didn't expect much from Shada. She did the exam. And the day we moved to Canada, they announced the result, and I heard it in the radio, where she was worried. Her friends who succeeded, 89, 90, 91. And when it came to Shada, she succeeded as nothing happened. 96%. What is she doing now? She's studying electrical and computer engineering at the University of Toronto. The antidote of hatred and revenge is success. To succeed and to move forward. In my life, I am in debt to my mother, to my wife, and to my daughters, without whom I will never be here or achieve. What did I achieve? They were part of my success, from Jabalia camp to Cairo University, to London University, to Harvard, to Italy, to Belgium. It's because of them. And I fully believe the strongest members in my society and in any society are women. Women have always maintained the hope in spite of all the challenges they face. Women maintain the prospects for a better future, and this will help all to start the healing. That's why I am optimistic and hopeful about our future, because I fully believe and sure of when we all come together as women and men, as elders and the children, for the collective good for all people and the advancement of our communities and societies, not only will we benefit, but the whole world as a whole will benefit. Women are the balance of our world. Women are the reason the world made it this far, and women are the only hope of this world has to rise up and reach the greatness all humans are capable of achieving, not just imagining. Women, they give life. Women nurture life. Women never stop living. It's time for women's role and support. It's not only rights or status. Women, they have the rights and the status, but they need the opportunity and to practice their full role in shaping our future. That's why, in memory of Bisan, Mayar, Aya, and Noor, Daughters for Life Foundation was established for education of girls and women from the Middle East, girls who are succeeding from hardship, to see in these girls the plans of Bisan, Mayar, Aya, and Noor fulfilled, and to keep Bisan, Mayara, Aya, and Noor alive. with good deeds. These girls are our daughters. And these are the blessings I can send to Bisan, Mayar, Aya, and Noor. It's not the biology, it's the humanity. And education is the key indicator of development. Education of whom? Education of girls and women. If you want to invest for a change, invest in the education of girls and women. Education for the common good. The soul of teaching is to change the human conditions. And no one in this world can be ignorant and free. Education of girls and women is the most efficient and effective mean to make a difference in this world. A healthy, educated girl and woman will raise a healthy, educated children, husband, family, community, and nation. That's what is needed from all of us, to come together. No one can do everything, but each of us can do something. I hope each of us can leave here with the message, what can I do? They used to say, the 19th century was European one. The 20th was an American one. I am confident when we all come together to make the 21st century the century of humanity and women's role through education at that moment. The world in which we live, we will inherit our children and leave it satisfied, where we all can have a safe, secure, a free world for all of us. Let all of us leave here with that message. What can you do to make a difference? The world is waiting for you. As I said, there is hope, and the world is hopeful. Thank you, and God bless you. Thank 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 you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Dr. Abuelaish has agreed to take questions, so we have microphones on the two sides of the auditorium. So please, I ask you to make your way to the microphone. I'm also going to ask you to get to your question as quickly as you can, and to get it as concise as you can, so we can get as many questions in as possible. Thank you so much.
I enjoyed your book very much, as did the book club that I belong to, and we were all curious after we finished reading it in terms of your own professional future. I know your colleagues back in Israel and your colleagues in Palestine had wondered when you would return to them, and I'm wondering about your future plans.
The future plans, as Palestinian, I can't plan. That's my life. I have to live my moment, because I don't know the future. What is it going to bring me? This is one thing. And I see the world is mine. Today, I am in Canada. When I came to Canada, I came with a work permit contracted by U of T. It was for 5 years. My children, they used to follow me. Where I go, they follow me. Now, I am living my life for my living children and those who were killed. Wherever they are happy, I will go. My children, I asked them 2 years ago, before the end of the 5 years to come, what would you like? They said, we are happy here. And that's my life, because the children are the beauty of life, and they are the life. So the university, they said to me, we are not allowing you to leave. And I came for 5 years, and they extended the contract till 2024. God knows what will happen, but the world is ours. Today I am here. Tomorrow I can be in Palestine. The other day I can be in another part of the world. The world, it's not where are you. It's who are you. You can make the world, and you can create your own world. So my plans now, I am here in Toronto. As I said, in August I was in Palestine. I visit, my home is there, my people is there, but I can help in this world from every place, and I am very satisfied that I am in Toronto, where I can make a difference, inside and outside.
Izzaldine, I'm glad you're here. Thank you for being here, and thank you for your great words. We live in a country that knows very little about the occupation of Palestine, and we live with a prime minister that does not support, doesn't even know maybe who there are Palestinians in the world. I'm just wondering, and maybe I'm being a little strong, but I'm a little angry with what's happening in our country. And you say to speak out. Do you have any way, I mean, this is a banal question maybe, but how do we spread the news about the occupation of Palestine and the history of the continued occupation and the continued building of settlements on Palestinian land?
Thank you. I think the Prime Minister, he knows that I am Palestinian and I am existing. And my existence doesn't need any recognition from anyone. As long as I am living, I am breathing, I am existing, and I am moving. But it's important, what did you say about politicians? I am, and this reminds me one time, I will be honest with you. One time I was in Calgary, and I gave the same speech. After I finished, it was 2 years ago, I was struggling because I came with work permit. And I'm struggling to change my work permit to permanent residence. And I don't know, because Palestinians, when you ask about the future, always our mindset is security. I am coming from Palestine, from Gaza, the Israelis, the occupation, the security. So after I finished, a priest, he stood up to ask me a question. I was struggling with my permanent residence, and they told me, your application was sent to something called CSIS. I said, what is that? Oh, wow. I said, is it behind me everywhere, the issue of security? And all of the Canadians, they know. So he stood up to say to me, Dr. Abuelaish, tomorrow I am meeting with Mr. Jason Kenney. What would you like me to say to him? What can I say? I know this government, as you said, and I'm struggling with what can I say? I can't. They can kick me out. I have to smile, but thanks God, it came to my mind, say Father, his name, Father Green. I said, Father Green, I have a copy of my book. I will sign it, please give it to him to read it. So, but it's important, these politicians, I think, They are not coming from the sky. They are coming from among us. We should not blame them. We should blame ourselves. Who brought them? We can speak to others and to talk to others. And by the end of the day, these politicians are not permanent. They are coming and leaving. They are coming and leaving. That's the hope. But at the same time, what can we do to promote the good people to reach the offices? Start to select, to lobby, to join organizations where you can create and bring the good leaders who can work for you and from among us. That's our responsibility. We don't want smiling politicians. We need honest, courageous, risk takers, politicians who can sacrifice their positions for the good cause of the people. And it's our responsibility to bring them. Any other questions? Good.
I'd be very interested to know what your son's plans are.
Oh. I have 3 daughters and 2 sons. 2 are studying engineering at the University of Toronto. My son, that's life. It made him more responsible to grow before the time. He came here, he was much spoiled back home. His mother, his sisters, but when he came here to be more responsible, he is now in IB1 at UCC, the Upper Canada College. He is doing very well, and I encourage him to study law because I am determined to bring my daughters justice. I am fighting these days for the last 2 or 3 years just to prove my daughters were innocent. You see, they were killed, and you want to prove your daughters are innocent. I said, I will continue that fight with the means I have. But I hope my son, if God help me to achieve that in my life, it will be great. If not, my son can continue that journey. That's what my son Muhammad is willing. And I'm happy I am supporting him to be a good person, to succeed, and to keep his sisters alive. My youngest son, Abdullah, and that's what do we teach our children. My son, Abdullah, who is grade 6, the youngest, as some people in this world, they blame others. You teach your children to hate us. Instead of asking what did they do to the people to make them to hate. Because hatred is not taught. You can't teach someone to hate, but you can make someone to hate. By torturing, by intimidating, by exposing. So my son, he came one day from the school to say to me, I want to invite a friend of mine. His name is AJ. I said, why not? But he said to me, he is a Jew. But he's a nice guy. He's a nice boy. I was happy at that moment that my son, to see others and not to generalize in life. We should not generalize. When we say Palestinians Israelis, Canadians. We need to speak about Canadians to differentiate between administrations, governments, and the people. Canada is Canada. It's the people, the Canadian people. It's 30 million people. But the government, how many thousands? It does not. So we should not generalize in life. And that's what I liked from my son, to point by the finger to one who is doing good or bad, but not to say all of them, Muslims, Jewish, Christians, or others. Speak about people as people. So that's the way, and that's what I am teaching my children, to be resilient, and they are. And I have friends here from Waterloo who came today. They knew my children, and they communicated with them, and they know them well, and I am proud of my children.
Dr. Abuelaish, it's a pleasure to hear you speaking in person. Just wanted to ask, having a refugee background yourself, and I know the term refugees is very loaded, seeing everything that's going on within Canadian immigration policies and what's going on in Syria and how our government is closing down the borders. What's your take on that? And, are you planning on running for office at some point?
Oh, wow. When I get the citizenship, then I will decide. Till now, I was hopeful. They said to me, after you finish 3 years, you can get it. They said they changed their policy. It may take longer. So I ran for the office in Palestine once. And my mandate as a doctor, I see things white or black. I don't play politics, with it. And thanks God, I ran as independent, not belonging to any party. I don't want to be politicized or be counted on this side or the other. I have my decisions from my mind, not someone else to say to me what to do. And thanks God, as I said, everything in life is for good, even if it is bad. Maybe we see it bad at that moment, but later on we realize it's for good. Thanks God, I got high votes, but I didn't compete as independent with Fatah party or Hamas party. And thanks God, I didn't succeed, but it was for good. It was for good that I moved beyond, and now I am a Zildin. I am free. I can say whatever I want. And that's what is needed from all. I don't know what the future, if I see myself in that position, I can do, what can I do to make a difference? Believe me, I will do it. And thanks God, I am a risk taker because I fully believe, as I said, no one can take from me more than what God planned.
We're happy to have Father Ron McDonnell here from Scarborough Mission, so I'm going to ask him to come up and formally thank Dr. Abuelaish on our behalf.
Good evening, everyone. I think I speak for all of us here this evening when I say that I was deeply moved by your words, Dr. Abuelaish, and by all of your sharing, your very deep and intimate sharing of your own suffering. During your talk, you mentioned a number of words. One of them was challenge, and I think your sharing and all of what you've spoken to us this evening it challenges us to become motivated, to become actors as well in our world. You spoke of hatred, as a toxin. And as you spoke, I couldn't help but think of the words of St. John in his letters when he says, anyone who loves God and hates his brother or sister cannot love God, does not love God. And so this love for our brothers and sisters is what will remove this toxin, this hatred toxin. And you spoke of hope for our world, and this necessity, this desire to have this hope. When we met this afternoon for the first time in Toronto as we drove down, I think one of the first things I noticed about you were your smile. You have this wonderful smile. And then as you spoke and I could feel and see your tears, I realized that you have somehow transformed those tears into your smile as a man and as a doctor. And so on behalf of all of us here this evening, thank you for all of who you are, your sharing and your witness to us and your challenge to us. On behalf of St. Jerome's University and Scarborough Missions and all of us here, thank you. Shukran.
Thank you, Father Ron. So a couple more things before we close this evening. First of all, if you want to receive any information on our lecture series and get email reminders and so on, in the hallway there's a place that you can sign up, and we're happy to let you know about that. You can also let us know if you'd like to hear about many other things that are happening at St. Jerome's University, and we'd love to share those with you. Every year, St. Jerome's University is pleased to present a program of speakers to our community. And we're able to present these lectures at no charge because of the generosity of so many partners and supporters. If you too would like to support the lectures, there are some donation envelopes available here in the foyer and on chairs, so please, you're welcome to fill those out. And thank you so much to all of you who give so generously to us. And especially this evening, we want to thank the Scarborough Missions. They have been committed to us, and they're ongoing committed to these lectures and their generosity in endowing the yearly Scarborough Missions lectures. So thank you to them. If you didn't notice on your way in, then you might want to notice on your way out that there are a number of wonderful fairly traded products available for sale in the foyer by our Social Justice Committee. And again, if you didn't notice on your way in, Wordsworth Books is in the foyer. Dr. Abuelaish's book is available there, and there are a number of other different books written by speakers in our series over the years, and other books that reflect the theme of our lectures. In terms of upcoming events, I want to let you know about two. One is on this coming Monday, November the 18th, from 4:30 to 6:30 in the fireplace lounge of our women's residence called Sweeney Hall. We're going to enjoy some refreshments, but we're also going to have a panel discussion and book signing to celebrate the fact that two members of the Religious Studies Department here at St. Jerome's, Dr. Scott Klein and Dr. Miroslav Tatarin, and this year's visiting scholar in the Master of Catholic Thought program, Dr. Cynthia Crysdale, have all had books published this year. So we've organized an event to celebrate that, and if you want to hear about them, listen to them, talk a little bit about their books and share some of what they're doing, there's a little bit more information where you sign up and where you give donations. There's a little bit more information and details about that event. And secondly, I want to let you know that the next lecture in Catholic Experience will take place on Friday, December the 6th. George Baird will be here with us to deliver the 2013-2014 Lawrence Cummings Lecture on Cultural History. And the title of that lecture is Thoughts on Agency, Utopia, and Property in Contemporary Architectural and Urban Theory. George Baird is Emeritus Professor of Architecture and the former Dean of the John Daniels Faculty of Architecture, Landscape, and Design at the University of Toronto. He is co-editor with Charles Jenks of the internationally renowned book, Meaning in Architecture. His latest book, Public Space, Cultural Political Theory, Street Photography, was published by Sun Publications in 2011. When Mr. Baird received the Royal Architectural Institute of Canada's Gold Medal in 2010, Bruce Kuwabara, who is founding partner of the Kuwabara, Payne, McKenna, Bloomberg Architects, said of him, "George's teaching and writing gave my generation a way of thinking about architecture as a gesture within a social and cultural context. His early focus on the formation and construction of the public realm as one of the urgent projects of architecture had an indelible impact on the way that we look at the world. So we're honored to have Mr. Baird with us to deliver the Cummings Lecture. Lawrence Cummings was a professor of English at St. Jerome's University from 1962 to 1972, and he is remembered as the founder of the Cultural History program in the University of Waterloo School of Architecture. So I hope that you will join us, if you can, on Monday afternoon, and then on December the 6th for Mr. Baird's reflection on the impact of the concept of utopia in our understanding of the meaning of human agency in our day. I want to thank you all so very much for coming this evening. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, a safe trip home, and so until next time, good night.